Mohammed was playing with his friends in Shati refugee camp when the airstrike happened. 10 children and 1 man were killed. He is now paralyzed from the waist down. It should not have been this way. Surgery could have saved his legs. He had the right papers to be evacuated into Egypt for emergency treatment.
We prepared all the documents. He keeps telling me to tell his friends he will be back soon to play again, but we know now he will never walk again.
His friend Mohammed Ayla is a victim of the same attack. Badly burnt, shrapnel in his lungs. He needs creams and medicines to treat his burns, but supplies at the hospital have run out. UN representatives in Gaza say a humanitarian disaster is unfolding. Dr. Sahab.
In this region of the world, conflict is sadly something people get used to. But for one American family stuck here during the latest fighting, it's been a scary experience. While the civilian death toll in Israel is low, especially compared to neighboring Gaza, the fear factor is still quite high. Just an hour or so ago, sirens went off again, warning of Hamas rockets. I'm joined now by David Selektar, who's from Queens, New York. I'm sorry, from Long Island, New York. His wife and children were visiting family in Israel when the fighting began. He rushed here to try to get them out. David, I want to play a video that she sent us today of an alert for an incoming rocket while you were in a shopping mall, just to give people an idea of what regular life is here. Let's take a listen.
We're in the mall now. There's a red alert, rocket coming in. This is what millions of Israelis go through every single day.
You can see there everyone evacuating. Now, David, obviously the media has been more focused on people actually being killed in Gaza than the fear of being killed here in Israel. But for you, this was a very frightening experience and very different than reading about it in the newspapers or watching it on CNN back in New York City.
Well, yes, but just to respond to what you said as far as the fear of being killed here as opposed to being killed in Gaza, and I feel, I feel for any civilians being killed in Gaza. The only reason we're not being killed here, civilians, that is because of the Iron Dome. Israel spent its resources and its time and technology on developing the Iron Dome. Thank God we have it. Thank God for the collaboration with America and the funding from America. But while we were doing that here and Israel was not here, Hamas was spending their money on building terror tunnels to attack Israel. So it's very unfortunate there are civilian deaths, and I really do feel for them. Let's all remember who Hamas is. Who the leadership that was voted in is, and I truly believe there are many good civilians in Gaza. But Hamas has a history for many years, suicide bombings of buses, restaurants, killing children. They tried to kidnap many people many times, even during this conflict.
Understood. But since you're here to share with us your experience,
yes.
So fellow Americans back
Sure.
In the United States and others around the world who might not know what it is like to be going through one of these experiences that you're not used to, although people in this part of the world, people in Israel, are used to. What is it like when you're walking in a mall and that alarm goes off? Are you here with you're here with your wife and your children?
My wife and 4 young children, yes. We're staying at my father-in-law's place.
How old are your kids? How old?
The oldest is 5.5. The youngest is 10 months old. And you're right, being in the shopping mall, fortunately there are bomb bunkers. It's very close to...
I'm not belittling it. I just want to tell us...
Bani shows me some of the supplies he says the hospital needs.
The strangulation of Gaza continues. It's getting worse. We get hundreds of patients every day. We urgently need stronger antibiotics. We need blood coagulants. We need basics like surgical gloves, tubes to aid patients' breathing.
He says the Israeli military has warned the hospital may be targeted.
On more than one occasion, we have had a warning call from the Israeli military that they are going to target Shifa Hospital. There was total panic here. They have hit the eastern wall already.
The Palestinian Ministry of Health says 36 ambulances have been partially or completely destroyed. 102 medical staff have been injured and 19 killed.
Since Israel's military offensive began, there have been terrible difficulties for ambulance drivers to try and get to the wounded, and some medical workers and their ambulances have been targeted. The man who was driving this ambulance was killed in Jazeera a few days ago.
Ayman shows me the bullet holes in his ambulance.
We cannot trust the Israeli military and the Red Cross to coordinate for us to get the injured out. They told us on the phone that my colleague could go to rescue someone. He was killed when his ambulance was attacked.
Outside Shifa Hospital, hundreds of people are living in tents or on the pavements. Many of their homes have been destroyed. Subhi came here with his family of 10 from Jazeera more than 2 weeks ago.
There's no water for us, no bathrooms, no power, no food. We're getting no help from the hospital, nothing from the UN. We had help during Ramadan, but now there is nothing.
In the children's ward, Mohammed lays terrified in his bed. He will never play with his friends like he did before. If the hospital had been able to treat him, he may have been able to walk again. Charles Stratford, Al Jazeera, Gaza.
Resting back.
Sure. How did your kids react to it?
You know, we tell them they're fire drills. You know, fortunately, they really have no idea that there's a war going on. And you're right, it is terrifying being woken up at 5 in the morning, knowing that there's literally a missile or a rocket coming in the direction of your town, directly at you. And, you know, getting to the bunker in less than a minute is a terrifying experience.
Where are you? Where are you staying? What part of Israel?
It's called Rosh Ha'ayin. It's about 40 miles away from, 50 miles away from Gaza.
And how much of a warning is there? Because I know in places like Sderot, which are close to Gaza, it's about a 15-second warning. Here in Jerusalem, it's more of a 90-second warning.
Right, we're lucky. We have a minute. But as you mentioned, Sderot and other places in the south that have been under attack for 13 years. 13 years by rockets. They have 15 seconds. And, you know, the children there, it's the norm for them to run to bomb shelters while at school for the last decade.
A lot of psychological trauma. We're going to show a video right now of you driving in a taxi as you arrived,
right.
And the alarm going off. Tell us, we only have a little bit of time left. Tell us, you feel stuck here as opposed to, can you explain that?
Sure, I wouldn't use the word stuck. Look, the route to the airport with my children, if the alarm goes off, you have to jump out of the car and then hit the floor and, you know, duck for cover. Definitely not an appealing situation to be in. Look, I have a sister-in-law, my wife's only sister. She's due to give birth in 3 days. We came here for that.
Congratulations.
Thank you. You know, I've been in this conflict with my family, my extended family, throughout the last 2 weeks, and we intend on continuing our trip and being here with them. And I would feel as if I'm leaving them behind at this point. We're in this together. And I would definitely wouldn't use the word stuck, because there are flights in and out of Israel all the time.
I misunderstood. We hope you and your family remain safe.
I
Thanks
appreciate
so much
that.
for sharing your story with us.
Thank you.